So today we are working on a 1957 Bel-Air. So went ahead and we, obviously it's fresh paint on it, so we got to be careful with the process that we do with the cut and buff. So we're using the G360. It's a super fast compound. It's pretty nice. It's like a diminishing grid almost. It doesn't leave a whole lot of residue on, we'll say, like the trim, windshields, things like that. It does get a little bit messy because how I do it is I usually do wet. So when I do a cut and buff like this, so right now this side has already been first compound. I got to go over it again, obviously, but that's the finish that we're after to get to the next two steps. The hood, I'm still, had a little bit of boogers on there, so I'm still wet sanding that a little bit more. So pretty much it's gonna be dull like so. So now there might be a better way to do this. I don't know. All I know is that this way works for me. So everything's been sanded with 1500 grit and then 2000 grit and 2500, and that's wet. And so with soap and water in a bucket. So this is essentially what I'm doing to bring it back to life now, is I spray it down with water. Just makes it a little bit easier on it. And then I rub the compound on in a messy fashion. And once again, this might not be the way people do it or you do it or whatnot, but it gets the job done. I'm using this is standard waffle cutting compound pad and the Makita rotary buffer. I've tried the dual action ones and I'm just not a huge fan. I don't know why, it's just kind of scary using those. So when I do the edges, what I normally do is I'll kind of hit them quickly like this. That makes sense, because the edges have the least amount of paint on them, and so you're very likely to burn through whatever clear coat or base coat you have on it faster than any other part on the vehicle. And I usually start out at speed 1 on my buffer, and I just work it all into every little crack and crevice. I try to keep it flat for the most part. Sometimes I will kind of hit it at an angle, but majority of the time I keep it pretty flat. Like I said, this might not work for you, but it works for me, and that's all that matters. And then I usually pick it up to about 1.5 to 2. And later on, I'll open up this door so I can kind of switch off of it. But right now, just for the video's sake, we'll just skip that process. And I'm only putting pretty much light pressure on it, not very heavy. And then usually what I do next is once I get to about this stage, I will take some water and I will spritz it on it again. And then I will do one more pass. But this time I'll bump the speed up a little bit more. Then it's always good to grab a clean rag. And like I said, you're still gonna have some scratches in it. It's gonna look a little bit fuzzy. But the biggest part is getting rid as much of those scratches that you put in it by wet sanding it. And once it gets to this stage, everything should be gravy. And that is the first step among many on bringing this paint back to life. And that's all.